Hey, happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we are tracking 3 different areas today for potential severe weather. Now, we are going to see some strong storms. We may see a lot of storms, but the severe risk will be pretty isolated today. Heat and hail. Yes, that is our big headline over the next few days. We've got that heat coming in. Record temperatures are expected over the next few days, and hail is also going to be a big part of the discussion, mainly on Thursday and Friday. So we do have some big changes on the way here, where we have a very active severe weather pattern setting up, especially across the Midwest and portions of the Missouri Valley. So we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. But first, let's get to that drone giveaway. Okay, we have seen several people tag us and post over the last few days to be entered into this drone giveaway. We are giving away a drone. It just came in yesterday. We've seen it and it looks really, really nice. It's got a 4K camera on it. So how do you enter this contest? Well, all you have to do is record a video or write a post about how Hail Trace has helped your company succeed, whether it's been 15 days or 15 years. We want you to tag us in that post and then use the hashtag 15 years of Hail Trace. And that is to celebrate our 15-year anniversary, which I think is technically on Friday. It is this week. Yes, we have been a company for 15 years. Now let's get to your forecast today. Currently, we have storms ongoing across South Carolina and to North Carolina as well. Nothing has gone severe yet. However, we've seen lots of storms pop up over the last few hours. I do expect severe weather to start within the next few hours. So this will be an afternoon and evening event right here. We could see some larger hail from this. However, again, while we could get a lot of storms, a lot of rain in this area, that severe risk will be pretty minimal. Still, all hazards are on the board for today. Taking a look at the last 24 hours, it was very, very similar, where we saw a lot of rain across this area, down to the southeast, all the way into Florida, but very few local storm reports, so very few severe weather hazards in itself. There's some wind, some hail across the northern side of Alabama, but for the most part, we saw storms stay non-severe yesterday. We even saw an isolated tornado report yesterday out in the far eastern side of North Carolina. Now today, I do think that we're going to see better chances for severe weather, however, still pretty isolated. You can see that we've got a cold front sitting up in the plains. This is going to help storms to go up today. And then we've also got a very messy front out to the east. We've got a little low pressure system out here that has continued to stay pretty messy. So right now we've got all of that rain across the northern side of the southeastern portion of the U.S. We've got some showers going into Florida right now. Tons of rain up here across the mid-Atlantic. Now this area is going to be in the path for some flooding hazards today. Oklahoma, Kansas, pretty dry right now, but take a look at this. Do you see these lines right here, these black lines that kind of dip down into like Las Vegas up to Rapid City? This is your next weather maker. So this will be something that we're not terribly concerned about today. However, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, this system right here, or this trough, will be the next thing that is helping to produce those storms. And we'll explain that a little bit better over the next few minutes. But let's talk temperatures right now, because we've got this little mini ridge going on across the central portion of the U.S., bringing in that heat. Right? It's pretty calm out there right now, but it is hot. 83 down in Dallas, and it's only noon. 79 in Oklahoma City, 79 in Kansas City. So yes, this heat will continue not only today, but also through tomorrow and on Thursday, slowly kind of moving to the east. Meanwhile, out in the west, we're getting a break from that warm weather. Temperatures are cooling down, and we're actually expecting some snow up in the mountains. But we won't talk about snow today. We'll talk about that severe weather. That's why you've jumped on today, right? To see that severe weather. And it actually reminds me, let me pull up your comments over here. Put your comments in the chat and I'll be able to see them over here. Tell me where you're watching from today. And while those are popping up, let's get to that severe weather. So yes, we have 3 different areas that we are keeping an eye on for hail today. We're talking about one area in the northern side of Mississippi and Alabama. That second area, anywhere from Raleigh all the way up to West Virginia. And then that third area out in the plains. And this is kind of coming off of that trough that I was talking about earlier, including North Dakota, South Dakota, and portions of Montana and Wyoming. So which area could see the largest hail? We'll talk about that here in just a minute. But I want to talk about the storm risk for tomorrow, shifts to the east a little bit. By Thursday, we're going to see that out in the Midwest. So yes, Chicago, you have been asking over and over, and I'm glad that you've been asking, because what is it? Good things come to those who wait. Chicago, you have waited quite some time. We finally have a chance for storms on Thursday, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute as well. But let's take a look at that significant hail model for today. Here you go. We've got North Carolina, Virginia, and the path for some larger hail. We've also got a pretty good chance out in the northern portion of Mississippi and Alabama. And then we've got a pretty low chance up to the north into the Dakotas. Now, I think that we could have some isolated storms up here. Most of them will stay non-severe. A few of them could go severe. Taking a look at your forecasted max hail size for today, I put that at hen egg sized hail, so that's 2 inches in size. Most of my maps today have golf ball size hail, but maybe some larger hailstones could squeak in there. Most of these hailstones are going to be what we like to call pocket change. That means smaller than the size of a quarter, nickel, penny, dime sized hail. Every now and then, and you'll see a lot of these green markers on here, every now and then we could get some larger hailstones. It's a low chance, but I think maybe Greensboro, Roanoke could get those larger hailstones that could get up to ping pong, golf ball, maybe even mixing in hen egg sized hail. Taking you down to the northern portion of Mississippi and Alabama, Tupelo and into Birmingham, we have another chance for that ping pong to golf ball size hail in here. Both of these risks will be for mainly the afternoon and evening hours. As we go farther up to the north, this will be more of an overnight, early morning event. So it'll be late tonight and into the early morning hours on Wednesday for Rapid City and Dickinson. This will be ping pong ball sized hail. I'm not quite sure we'll get anything larger than that. And again, it's a very low risk here. If I could go, here, let me go back here. If I could do something lower than this green risk right here, that's what I would do. It's a very isolated risk, but if we could get an impressive storm, I think that those hailstones could be pretty large in this area. I am also watching for the wind risk, 65-mile-per-hour winds up in the Dakotas. If you go farther down to the south, maybe we could get some stronger wind speeds down here, up to 70, maybe 75-mile-per-hour winds, and then an isolated tornado is also possible in this area. So that highlighted there in green, it's a level 1, a low risk for a tornado, anywhere from Richmond to Virginia Beach, kind of on the east side of this system, right? So you've got that hail risk farther out in the central portion of the states, and then that tornado risk the closer you get to the coast. Now what we're watching for here is very similar to yesterday. Most storms will not pose a tornado risk. There will be very isolated storms that will pose a tornado risk. Short-lived tornadoes are possible here. It's a low risk, but it's still something that you need to keep an eye on. Down into Mississippi, Alabama, once again a low risk that backs up into Birmingham and then goes all the way through Tupelo, but does not include Memphis. So Memphis is right over here, does not include Memphis. And I always have a little issue with this graphic. And moving on to your timeline now, we are going to see showers and storms continuing. We have storms right now across the Carolinas and into Virginia. We're going to see this continuing, but we're really not watching too much for these really clustered storms. This is going to pose a very, very rainy day for you. You're going to see some flooding issues with all of these clustered storms that are hugging the coast. What we're really watching for that hail risk will be farther back into the central portion of the states. So what we're watching for, so central portion of North Carolina, central portion of Virginia, we're watching for these isolated storms, like right there. We're watching for these isolated storms that will be popping up, and I think they'll pulse up. They'll be pulsating storms, which is what that means is they're going to intensify, and then they're going to weaken, and then they're going to intensify, and then they're going to weaken. They're going to pulse up and down, right? Did you like my little hand motion there? I hope that helped you understand what pulsating storms are. But that's exactly what we're watching for here, where they could cycle through, sometimes intensifying and sometimes weakening. So we're really going to have to watch these very closely here. Not all of them going severe, but a few of them could have some of those larger hailstones associated with them. Now moving into Mississippi, what we're watching for here are more isolated storms. So these are going to be your potential supercells. Maybe we could get 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 supercells, anywhere from Tupelo all the way to Birmingham. So not a very large area here. But again, we have that tornado risk and that potential large hail risk associated with these storms as well. Now we'll move up to the north and we'll go into the Dakotas, and then we'll move into tomorrow, okay? So let's see your timeline for the Dakotas. As I mentioned here, it's going to be a late night system by 3 o'clock, nothing even on the radar. By 4 o'clock, ooh, we have one little thing on the radar out here, one little blip in the far southern portion of South Dakota. We will see more activity on the radar as we head into the late night hours. It's dark by this point, maybe you're getting ready for bed. You'll see more storms into the overnight hours. Maybe you'll hear the rumble of thunder, see the strike of lightning out your window. We do have a very, very low tornado threat on here, but it's not the #1 thing that I'm concerned about. No, I think the biggest thing in this area will be that hail risk. Again, not all of these going severe, but if we could get a few storms to produce hail, I do think that we have a pretty good chance to see ping pong, maybe golf ball size hail in this area. Alrighty, what everyone's been waiting for, and I told you I would give you some time to put on your questions in the comments section. Joey says, Chicago. Tim is asking about Destin, and Joey's saying, let's go. So let's get into that Chicago forecast here. So as we head into Wednesday, we see that risk switch off into the central to eastern portion of the Dakotas. Now what we're watching for, once again, is an afternoon to evening time event. This will be something that tracks to the east and into the Midwest as we head into Thursday. Thursday morning, maybe some light showers around, but you're severe clear. As we head into the afternoon hours on Thursday, that's whenever we see a line of storms come through, maybe several lines of storms come through. So this will be right around your evening commute and into the late night hours, okay? After dinner time, after you're ready for bed. There's line 1, there's line 2. It looks like line 1 has a pretty good target for Chicago, and then line 2 following right after that, farther up to the north. So just a little recap here. Tomorrow your risk is out in the Dakotas all the way into the western side of Minnesota. And then that risk shifts to the east as we head into Thursday, right there, that level 2 risk in Chicago down into Cincinnati, including most of Michigan and most of Minnesota as well. But this really does, it extends farther down to the south. We could even see hail in Memphis by Thursday. So this is your hail risk right here. So we have several chances for storms, not just one, but several. The farther north that you go, it'll be a little bit more isolated, not as big as not as widespread as an issue down to the south. So there's your risk for Thursday. We have another one on Friday as well. I told you big changes are in the forecast where we enter into this very active weather pattern. Today kind of kicks it off, but tomorrow really kicks it off, and then we see that peak on Thursday. By Friday, we have a risk for storms from Memphis all the way up to Cincinnati. Once again, we're expecting that line of storms to, yep, there you go, shift to the south. And then even by Saturday, here's what I'm watching for. By Saturday, we have a pretty good chance for showers and storms farther down to the south. So I'm interested to see, we don't have a risk for Saturday yet, but I'm interested to watch this area right here in the southern plains and then even into some of our northern Gulf states to see if we could get any severe storms by Saturday and Sunday. So it kind of kicks off an active pattern here, and we can see that in some of our upper air models. There's that trough. So you want storms in Chicago, this is your moneymaker right here. You're going to see this trough move from the west coast all the way up into the Midwest by Thursday and Friday. Even down, what did I say, even as far south as Memphis by Thursday and Friday. We're going to continue to see this active pattern continue. So we get a little bit of a break in here, but then what do we have again? Another trough by Sunday, another one out on the west coast that continues to move to the east into the plains by Monday, and then out to the east on Tuesday, Wednesday, and into the later portion of the work week. So these are long-term models. Things are going to change between now and then. The forecast is not perfect right now, right? We're going to get more information as we approach Thursday. We're going to get more information as we approach Friday. But we have a long-term model right now to tell us it will get more active. Right? This little lull of severe weather that we've had is coming to an end, and we're going to have a lot more activity. So make sure that you come back for each forecast in the future. May 18th through the 22nd. Holy moly, can you believe that we are already talking about the end of May? So this is the third week of May. What we're watching for here is a little bit of a cool down. If you're not ready for this summer heat quite yet, you have some relief coming. It looks like temperatures are likely to be below average as we head into the third week of May. What about your rain? It still looks pretty rainy. It looks like we have it looks like we have a really good chance to be above average in terms of rainfall as well. And I just like to include this graphic on here because I like to show how warm we've gotten over the last 24 hours. We've actually seen a pretty significant cool down out to the west. We've got a cold front out there. So over the past 24 hours, we've seen a pretty significant cool down, but we've warmed up quite significantly in places like Dallas, Louisiana. Are you feeling the heat? More importantly, are you feeling the humidity down in Louisiana today? I know it feels quite tropical. Alrighty, we'll move on here. Don't forget about that giveaway. Record a video or write a post about how Hail Trace has helped your company succeed. Whether it's been 15 days or 15 years, we want to hear from you. But more importantly, we want to give back to you. So all you have to do to be entered into this drawing, you could win a drone from this drawing, tag Hail Trace and use the hashtag 15 years of Hail Trace. This hashtag is very important. That's how we find the entries into the drawing. So thanks for joining us today. We'll do this drawing the last day of the month, or I think it's that last Friday of the month. So you still have a few days to do it. But you can tag us as many times as you want, and each tag is another entry. Each platform is another entry into the drawing. All right, officially moving on. Thanks for joining us today. In the meantime, make sure that you follow us on all social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We're also on Threads, LinkedIn, name another platform, we're probably on it. And if you're interested in a hail, wind, or tornado map, you know that severe thunderstorm warning we just got? We have meteorologists mapping that storm right now. We've got like 5 in the other room. They can probably hear me talking about them right now. So we've got that map ready for you. Give us a call at 855-334-4245 to get set up with a map. info@hailtrace.com for email, and then visit our website, hailtrace.com. All right, thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. We'll see you back here for your forecast at noon tomorrow.